Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesday. This week I'm going to talk about communication and culture. Now, I was at a safety conference in Nashville a few weeks back, and I attended a lot of different presentations over the course of the 3 days of the conference. And one of the presentations, it was a three-part presentation by three different presenters, but one of our former employees, Justin Wittenberg, if you're out there, Justin, great job. Hopefully you're watching this, but Justin did a presentation around communication in teams, and he kind of drew he kind of drew a correlation of sports teams and the importance of communication towards their success. And I really like that approach. And it touched on something that maybe we don't talk enough about, which is how we communicate and then how that affects culture. And we hear this word culture so much in the safety profession because it's so critical. We either have a good culture or maybe not so good culture, and we want to influence that culture because we know that it affects the outcomes of the effectiveness of our overall program. So it really starts with communication. And to me, when we look at this and we break it down, in order to be able to create good communication, the first thing we need to do is create expectations. For many of us, that means very clear policies and procedures that set those expectations. Once the expectations are set, we know what accountability should look like. And if we don't find that when we're auditing our jobs, walking our workplace, we're going to address those things as they come up and treat them or react to them accordingly. But one of the things that Justin touched on in his presentation was just the absolute importance of good communication. And I find that so often we're going through the motions, and it doesn't matter if you're a safety professional, if you're a frontline supervisor, you're a superintendent, you're a plant manager, it really doesn't matter. We go through the motions of trying to get things done. And sometimes we lose sight of the fact that really being highly, highly effective comes down to slowing down and making sure that we're communicating and it's being clearly understood. And I have 100 examples I can use just recently of where there was a failure in communication that resulted in a domino effect towards something significant, whatever that may be, a failure of a production line, a fatality, etc. But ultimately, I find that a lot of times we talk at people. We put up a PowerPoint, we go slide by slide, and we tell them. And to me, that's never been effective. And some people would argue, they're like, well, we've got to deliver all this information. We've got to get it out. It's in order to be compliant with our training. We got to deliver HAZCOM this way and bloodborne pathogen training this way. We got to get it all in, and we only have this much time to do it. So we got to spit it out there. But the reality is that the more we go from a talking to or at approach to a conversational type of a communication, getting people involved, and in the process of that, being able to clarify that they understand what the goal is or what the expectation is. And basically the old adage is tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. And I think the one thing that's missing is have them tell you what they learned to verify it. But verifying competency is so critical in being effective. And that's the area that I think the two areas. One is we talk at them. Two is we don't verify competency. And what ends up happening is people have a misunderstanding. They don't meet expectation. Accidents happen. Property damage occurs. Mistakes occur, whatever it may be. So I think that shifting from a talking at or to people to a collaborative type of a communication where we really focus on the effectiveness of what we're trying to accomplish and the message we're sending is really key. It's a different approach. It's not easy for everybody, but in the most dynamic cultures and the most dynamic workplaces I've ever been around or experienced or had exposure to, I've seen this type of an approach. And I think the reason it works so well is one, you're respecting people. You're not just telling them what to do. You're asking for their feedback. You're involving them in the process. You're showing them that you care what they think and that you care that they understand what you're trying to accomplish cumulatively as a group. And I just think that overall the effectiveness is so substantial. And even though it feels like at times we're not as accomplishing as much because we're not checking as many things off of our list as we would like to, overall the effectiveness is so much greater that the end result is better, and it maybe alleviates some of the busy work that we do as part of kind of our daily responsibilities. So think about that approach and evaluate the next time you're providing training or you're running a meeting trying to understand something, shift to a collaborative style of communication instead of just go through the process, check the box of, we've gone through all this stuff and we're done, and we can have them sign off on a form that they completed it and put it in their personnel file and we're done. So think about that. Hopefully that's helpful. We'll see you next Wednesday.